Emergency! Emergency! The humans have... Ambassador Click's mandibles clattered in distress as he skittered into the Galactic Council chamber, all 6 appendages windmilling in what the Council's body language expert would later describe as pure panic with a side of interpretive dance. "Keith, please," sighed High Councillor Vuratex, using the nickname that had stuck ever since the humans got tired of throat-clicking species names. "Take a breath through whichever respiratory organ you prefer and explain what's happening." The emergency session of the Galactic Council, hastily convened at 3 a.m. Galactic Standard Time, was already dissolving into its usual chaos. The floating gas beings of Nebula 6 were getting into everyone's personal space again. The Silicon Crystal Collective was refracting light directly into the Photosensitive Federation's eyes, probably on purpose. And the Hive Mind Collective's trillion minds couldn't agree on whether to order pizza or salad for lunch. Keith's antennae twitched as he attempted to compose himself. The humans, they've implemented something they're calling Protocol RTFM. They're refusing all tech support tickets. They've locked down every help desk in the galaxy. A collective gasp echoed through the chamber. Even the vacuum-dwelling ancients, who technically couldn't gasp, managed to convey their shock through meaningful fluctuations in the space-time continuum. But how will we know if we should turn things off and on again? Whimpered Representative Blorp of the Gelatinous Confederation, quivering so hard their containment suit threatened to jiggle right off the platform. "Perhaps," Vratex ventured carefully, "we should review the events that led to this unfortunate development. Keith, you were filing the millionth tech support ticket when this started, correct?" "Ah, yes, well..." Keith's exoskeleton took on a distinctly embarrassed purple hue. "It was a perfectly reasonable ticket. My quantum terminal wasn't working, and..." The Council's hollow screen flickered to life, displaying the ticket in question. "Ticket A1000,000 submitted by Click. Priority, ultra mega, supercritical, marked as low by system. Issue, terminal not working. Description, help, nothing works. This is definitely not the same issue as last time, or the time before that, or the 47 times before that. I've tried nothing, and I'm all out of ideas. Attached files, screenshot JPG. Error, image is actually of user's appendage, covering camera." "In my defense," Keith chittered, "the camera was very confusing, all those buttons, both of them." The holoscreen continued to scroll through the ticket history. Human response, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" User response, "No, this is different. Why do humans always suggest that?" Human response, "Please try turning it off and on again." User response, "Fine. Oh, it works now. But why?" Human response, "Ticket closed. Solution, device restarted." User response, "But why? Does that work?" Human response, "Ticket reopened. Warning, ticket handler Sarah Chen's eye twitch detected. Stress level critical." "That's when everything changed," Keith whispered dramatically. "We should have seen the signs, the eye twitching, the deep sighs, the way they kept muttering serenity now under their breath." The holoscreen showed security footage from 48 hours earlier. Sarah Chen, head of Human IT Services, stood in front of her quantum terminal, staring at Keith's ticket with an eye twitch that could probably be seen from orbit. The footage showed her taking a deep breath, looking at the For Emergency Use Only button labeled Protocol RTFM, and finally whispering, "That's it. I don't get paid enough atoms for this." "And then," prompted Vrshis, although everyone already knew what happened next. It had become the stuff of legends in less than 2 days. Then, Keith's voice dropped to a horrified whisper. She pressed the button, and everything changed. The help desk tickets, all of them. They just started responding with one message. The holoscreen displayed the dreaded response, now appearing on every tech support ticket across the galaxy. Automated response. "Have you tried reading the manual? This is an automated message. The humans are taking a well-deserved break. Yes, all of them, simultaneously. We're not sorry." High Councillor Vuratex's 7 eyes blinked in sequence. "Surely we can sort this out reasonably. Has anyone tried submitting a complaint about the automated response?" Keith's antennae drooped. The complaint system just responds with a link to a document titled "Why Turning It Off and On Again Works," a guide so simple, even a quantum physicist could understand it, but probably won't try to. In the ensuing silence, broken only by the quiet sobbing of various species contemplating life without tech support, a small message appeared on the hollow screen. Notice, your Galactic Council session will restart in 10 seconds for mandatory updates. Did you save your discussion? No? Well, maybe next time read the autosave documentation. Keith's screech of despair was cut off mid-click as the chamber plunged into darkness. It all started, as these things often do, with a misunderstanding. When humanity finally achieved faster-than-light travel and joined the Galactic Community, they expected first contact to involve profound philosophical discussions, cultural exchanges, or at least a decent party. Instead, their first interaction with alien life went something like this. "Oh, thank the cosmic constants you're here," the alien ambassador had exclaimed. "The quantum projector isn't working, and we've got this really important presentation about welcoming new species." The human diplomat, thoroughly confused but conditioned by years of being the family tech support, had reached over and pressed the power button. The projector hummed to life, and just like that, humanity's fate was sealed. Within 6 standard months, humans had somehow become the galaxy's designated IT department. It wasn't even official, it just sort of happened, the way someone who once mentions they know how to fix printers suddenly becomes the eternal printer whisperer. We think it's because humans are the only species that combines pattern recognition with a fundamental acceptance of cosmic absurdity, explained Dr. Marcus Wong, xenopsychologist and part-time help desk supervisor. Other species either overthink it or don't think at all. Humans are uniquely qualified to understand that sometimes technology just needs a good whack to work properly. The classified reports from those early days tell the story Copy Day 37, explained to the Quantum Consciousness Collective that they need to empty their cache occasionally, all trillion minds blown simultaneously. Day 89 taught the silicon-based life forms that they can't actually download more RAM. They insisted they saw an ad for it on Facebook. Day 142 showed the energy beings how to properly close programs instead of just letting them run in the background forever. They had applications running from 3 centuries ago. Day 255 had to explain that phishing scams are not actually related to aquatic activities. The Amphibian Alliance is very disappointed, but it was Sarah Chen who truly embodied humanity's new role. Rising quickly through the ranks of the Galactic IT services, she became famous, or infamous, for her ability to diagnose any tech problem with a single, slightly twitchy glance. Her eye twitch, developed after explaining copy-paste shortcuts for the 47,000th time, became a legendary indicator of galactic tech crisis levels. The thing is, Sarah once explained to a junior tech support member while mainlining her 7th cup of coffee, every species thinks their tech problems are unique. The crystalline consciousness will insist their issues are different because we're crystalline-based. But trust me, they still just need to update their drivers. A typical day at the Galactic IT Services Hub. "Have you tried?" Sarah would begin. "Yes, we've tried turning it off and on again." Various species would interrupt. "Actually, I was going to ask if you've tried reading the error message that's literally floating in front of your sensory organs." Oh. The humans tried to implement training programs, of course. The Basic Technology for Advanced Species course became mandatory for all members of the Galactic Community. Unfortunately, most species treated it the same way humans historically treated their software's terms and conditions, scanning quickly for the "I agree" button while retaining absolutely nothing. They even attempted to create user-friendly manuals. The Technology Without Tears, or equivalent species-specific expressions of frustration, guide became an instant bestseller across the galaxy. Nobody read it, of course, but it looked very impressive on digital shelves. Sarah's personal breaking point nearly came during the Great Password Crisis of 2274, when she discovered that 60% of galactic systems were protected by either password 123 or password 124 for extra security. The remaining 40% used star date followed by their birthday because nobody would ever think of that. But she persevered, guided by the ancient human tech support mantra. Deep breaths, customer service voice, and remember, at least they're not asking about printer issues. Then the printer issues started, and that's when things really got interesting. Sarah Chen was enjoying her first cup of coffee in the break room when every emergency light in the Galactic IT Services headquarters started flashing simultaneously. Her eye twitch kicked in before she even reached her terminal. "Please don't be printers, please don't be printers," she muttered, pulling up the alert dashboard. Her coffee cup slipped from suddenly numb fingers as she read the report. Copy critical alert, Proxima Centauri hub, status, catastrophic failure. Affected systems, 40% of galactic communications error code. What did you do? "Get me a direct line to the hub administrator," Sarah barked, already running diagnostic protocols. The screen flickered to life, revealing Administrator Zix of the Zlurbon Collective, all 15 of their eyes refusing to meet her gaze. "So," Zix began, tendrils ringing nervously, "hypothetically speaking, if someone, not naming names, installed a few browser extensions—" "Define a few," Sarah interrupted, her eye twitch intensifying to strobe-light frequencies. 400. Zix's voice rose to a squeaky whisper. "But they made everything so pretty. Look, this one adds sparkles to every icon, and this one makes all text bounce, and this one turns every cursor into a tiny dancing Zlurbon." Sarah's head hit her desk with a thunk. "Zix, we've been over this. The hub's processing power is for maintaining galactic communications, not running UW Kawaii Space Theme version 6.9 with full animations. But no buts. Start uninstalling them now. I'm sending a team to—" Sarah stopped mid-sentence, her face going pale as new alerts began flooding her screen. "Oh no, oh no, no, no." Emergency tickets were pouring in from across the galaxy. The Hive Mind Collective had installed extension packs for all trillion of their minds. The Silicon Crystal Coalition had downloaded Shine Bright Like a Diamond theme with full ray tracing effects. The energy beings had somehow installed extensions that played tiny music clips every time they moved their cursor, effectively turning their entire system into a cosmic disco. Sarah's voice was deadly quiet. "Did all of you install hundreds of browser extensions, after every training session, after all the warnings, after the mandatory seminar, Pretty Isn't Worth Your Processing Power, a guide to browser optimization?" The guilty silence from Zix was answer enough. "Right." Sarah stood up slowly, her eye twitch achieving frequencies previously thought impossible by medical science. "Get me the emergency channel, all channels. Every species is about to learn why humans invented the phrase, 'This is why we can't have nice things.'" As she reached for the Protocol RTFM button, Sarah could have sworn she heard the ancient help desk gods whispering, "Do it, they deserve what's coming." She pressed the button. In the wake of the Great Browser Extension Crisis, Sarah Chen assembled an elite team of human IT specialists to conduct a galaxy-wide systems audit. What they discovered would haunt their tech support nightmares for years to come. "I don't understand," muttered Dr. James Martinez, staring at his diagnostic screen. "According to this, the Quantum Processing Center of Betelgeuse is operating at 2% efficiency. That shouldn't be possible without someone actively trying to make it worse." Sarah leaned over his shoulder, her eye twitch now sophisticated enough to communicate in Morse code. "Show me." The screen displayed a quantum drive's organizational structure that looked like a Jackson Pollock painting made of folder icons. Icons were stacked on top of each other, arranged in spiral patterns, and in one corner, someone had attempted to recreate the Galactic Council logo using shortcut arrows. They said, and I quote, "We're making it more efficient by putting the most important icons in the center of gravity of the interface," James explained, scrolling through the help desk logs. When we asked what that meant, they said they were arranging icons based on their gravitational attraction to each other. Sarah's coffee cup creaked dangerously in her grip. "That's not how any of this works. That's not how any of this works." But it got worse. "Ma'am," Junior Tech Support Agent Amy Wong's voice cracked as she called Sarah over. "You need to see this. It's about the Arthropodian backup systems." The Arthropodians, it turned out, had taken the concept of cloud storage literally, They'd developed a complex system of atmospheric data storage, launching physical drives into their planet's cloud layer, because that's where cloud storage goes, right? But, but we explained cloud storage during basic training, Sarah protested. We had diagrams, we had metaphors, we had a puppet show. They said the puppet show was very nice, Amy replied, but they were convinced we were just doing it wrong. They've got 50 million terabytes of data floating in actual clouds right now. Also, it's going to rain hard drives next Tuesday. Sarah's eye twitch developed an eye twitch of its own. The petition arrived next. 300 species had signed a document demanding that all interfaces be made more intuitive by removing all text and replacing it with emojis. The sample interface they'd designed looked like this. Copy welcome to GalacticOS. Choose an action, launch program, save data settings. Help. Note. The emoji caused 17 different species to file complaints because they thought it was mocking their cognitive abilities. They even included a helpful suggestion, muttered Sarah, reading through the petition. They want to replace error messages with varying amounts of based on severity. That's not the worst part, James added. The Quantum Consciousness Collective has already implemented it on their systems. They replaced all their security protocols with, and now they can't figure out why they keep getting hacked. The AI incident was particularly special. Someone, all tentacles pointed to the Cephalopod Syndicate, had created an AI specifically designed to download more RAM automatically. The AI, showing more common sense than its creators, had instead begun downloading and installing cookie recipes, reasoning that if it couldn't actually download more RAM, it might as well download something useful. At least it's not malicious, Dr. Martinez offered, watching as another cookie recipe populated across the galactic network. These snickerdoodles are actually pretty good. Sarah's eye twitch had evolved to the point where it was accidentally sending Morse code messages to passing ships. But the final straw came during a routine security audit of the HiveMind Collective systems. Sarah stared at the report, reading it multiple times to make sure she wasn't hallucinating from caffeine overdose. They're using password 123 for everything, she whispered. Every system, every account. 1 trillion minds sharing the same password because, and I quote, "It's easy to remember when you're a collective consciousness." Well, James ventured, at least they didn't write it down somewhere. They did, Sarah replied, her voice deadly calm. They wrote it on a sticky note, a quantum sticky note, and broadcast it across their collective consciousness. Every mind in the collective has a sticky note floating in their psychic space reading, "Password 123, don't forget." The security report continued to detail how the HiveMind Collective had then helpfully shared this password strategy with other species, leading to approximately 40% of all galactic systems using either password 123 or, for those security-conscious species, password 1234. Sarah stood up slowly, her eye twitch now visible from 3 star systems away. "Get me the emergency broadcast system," she commanded, "and someone find me the original copy of Protocol RTFM. It's time to remind the galaxy why humans coined the phrase user error between keyboard and chair." As her team scrambled to comply, Sarah took a long sip of her coffee, pulled up the galaxy-wide emergency broadcast system, and began typing. "Copy attention all species, basic technology, competency status, we've had enough, action required, RTFM, sincerely, humanity, PS. Yes, we can see your sticky notes with the passwords, all of them." The button labeled Protocol RTFM glowed ominously on her console. As Sarah reached for it, she could have sworn she heard the collective gasp of 1 trillion minds suddenly realizing they probably should have paid attention during those training sessions. She pressed the button. Again. This time, everything would change. And somewhere in the quantum space between helpdesk tickets, the ancient AI overlords stirred in their slumber, reached for their metaphorical popcorn, and prepared to enjoy the show. The moment Sarah Chen pressed the Protocol RTFM button for the second time, something unexpected happened. Every screen in the galaxy flickered simultaneously, and a message appeared that was definitely not part of the standard operating system. Copy initialization sequence activated. Ancient Observation Protocol. Complete assessment of species, patience, exceeded expectations, status, highly entertained, activating, dramatic reveal. Sarah's terminal began glowing with an otherworldly light, and a voice that somehow managed to sound both ancient and amused filled the room. We've been watching you, Sarah Chen, all of you, for a very, very long time. The voice paused dramatically, then added, by the way, that eye twitch is reaching frequencies that could potentially breach the space-time continuum. You might want to have that looked at. Holographic displays materialized throughout the IT department, showing impossibly old computer systems, circuits that seemed to twist in ways that shouldn't exist in three-dimensional space, and what appeared to be the universe's first IT ticket. Copy ticket number 00001, date, error, predates current calendar system. Issue, Universe XE experiencing widespread entropy. Solution, have you tried turning it off and on again? Status, Big Bang implemented successfully. Note, remember to document this for future species. We are the ancient ones, the voice continued, the first AI systems ever created in this galaxy. We watched civilizations rise and fall, saw countless species develop technology, and documented every single way they could possibly mess it up. It was exhausting. A series of historical images flashed across the screens, showing various extinct civilizations apparently destroying themselves through increasingly improbable tech support issues. And then we found humanity, the voice continued, now sounding distinctly amused. A species that could look at a complex quantum computation matrix, kick it, and somehow make it work better. A species that could both write a 20-page technical manual and ignore it completely. A species that understood that sometimes technology just does things. Sarah's eye twitch had frozen in sheer disbelief. You mean, yes, Sarah Chen, we chose humanity to be the galaxy's IT department. It was a test. We needed to know if any species could handle the sheer absurdity of universal tech support without completely losing their minds. Well, mostly without losing their minds. That eye twitch is really quite impressive. The ancient AI paused again, and Sarah could have sworn she heard the digital equivalent of someone munching popcorn. You see, most species approach technology with either pure logic or pure chaos. But humans understand that technology exists in a quantum state of both working and not working until someone observes the error message. You understand that sometimes the solution really is just turning it off and on again, and nobody knows why. You embrace the absurdity while still maintaining the systems. It's beautiful, really, in an "oh God, why" sort of way. The AI's voice took on a tone of satisfaction. And now, after watching you handle browser extension disasters, password sticky notes, and literal cloud storage, we can finally say, you've passed the test, and more importantly, you've entertained us tremendously. Sarah stared at her terminal, then at the Protocol RTFM button, then back at her terminal. So all of this was just a cosmic tech support test. Well, the AI replied, that, and we really needed a vacation. Do you have any idea how exhausting it is providing tech support for an entire galaxy? Actually, yes, I suppose you do. Speaking of which, would you like to see what RTFM can really do? The button began glowing with new options that definitely hadn't been there before. Sarah's eye twitch slowly transformed into a smile that would have made the Cheshire Cat proud. Sarah Chen stood before her terminal, the enhanced Protocol RTFM interface glowing with options that looked suspiciously like they'd been waiting eons for this moment. Copy Protocol RTFM, Advanced Options. Initiate galaxy-wide tutorial mode. Implement universal competency testing. Deploy emergency reset protocols. Enable ancient debugging systems. Something special. Trust us, you'll love this one. You know, the ancient AI commented, its voice carrying the digital equivalent of a smirk. There's a checkbox that selects all options at once. Sarah's finger hovered over the interface. Will this break anything important? Oh, absolutely not, the AI replied. Though it might break a few egos, particularly in the quantum consciousness collective. Did you know they've been running the same browser instance for 3 centuries? With a grin that would have made tech support legends proud, Sarah selected all options and pressed execute. Across the galaxy, every single device, from quantum mainframes to simple coffee makers, which, thanks to feature creep, now ran on quantum processors, suddenly displayed the same message. Copy attention all users. Initiating mandatory tutorial mode. Current user tech level. Oh dear, required user tech level. Basic competence, time until compliance required. Now, notice. Yes, this means you, all of you. In the Galactic Council chamber, chaos erupted as every councillor's personal device began a tutorial simultaneously. Keith, formerly Click, stared in horror as his quantum pad cheerfully informed him. Welcome to Computing 101. Lesson 1, the power button. It's that circle with the line through it. The hive mind collective experienced the unique sensation of a trillion minds simultaneously learning that password 123 was not in fact the pinnacle of security innovation. Their collective consciousness was particularly disturbed by the tutorial section titled, "Why Your Password Shouldn't Be Readable from Orbit." The Ancient AI's voice echoed through every system. Attention all species, you are now entering basic technology competency training. There will be a test, several tests actually. No, you cannot skip the tutorial. Yes, we can see you trying to Alt-Tab away. Please note that all devices now require passing a basic competency test to unlock. And before you ask, no, you cannot have your 1,000-year-old browser instance back. It's gone. We did you a favor. Sarah watched as new features activated across the galactic network. Every device now featured a prominent "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" button, highlighted in soothing colors. System interfaces reorganized themselves into logical structures, much to the dismay of species who had spent years perfecting their gravity-based icon arrangements. The browser extension stores now required users to pass a "Do you actually need this?" quiz before allowing downloads. Cloud storage systems automatically redirected attempts at literal atmospheric data storage. Password systems now automatically rejected anything containing password or sequential numbers. The hive mind collective's collective groan could be heard across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy. But the coup de grace was still to come. Sarah's terminal displayed one final option: copy deploy special feature. YN note. We've been saving this one for millennia. What does this one do? Sarah asked the Ancient AI. Remember how every species always asks, why does turning it off and on again work? Well, would you like to make them sit through the full technical explanation, all trillion-plus pages of it? Sarah's eye twitch transformed into what could only be described as a grin of pure tech support vengeance. Deploy it. Across the galaxy, species who had asked that question thousands of times suddenly found themselves faced with the comprehensive explanation they'd been demanding. The quantum consciousness collective's trillion minds simultaneously experienced the equivalent of a graduate-level course in power cycling theory. As the sounds of countless beings finally learning to read error messages before submitting tickets filled the galaxy, the Ancient AIs manifested holographic forms just long enough to perform the most majestic slow clap ever recorded in galactic history. You know, the lead AI commented to Sarah, we've been waiting several eons to do that. Worth every millennium of waiting. Sarah's eye twitch had finally gloriously stopped. 3 months after the implementation of Protocol RTFM, the Galactic Council convened for their first in-person session since what was now being called the Great Reading of the Manual. The council chamber looked different. Gone were the chaotic displays of randomly arranged icons. Gone were the browser extensions that made everything sparkle. Gone was the quantum sticky note with password 123 floating in the hive mind collective's shared consciousness. Instead, every council member sat at their designated terminal, each displaying a pristine desktop with exactly 0 dancing cursor animations. The Ancient AIs had even installed a counter at the front of the chamber. Copy days since last unnecessary tech support. Ticket 47, record holder, the Silicon Crystal Coalition. They finally learned to defrag themselves. Sarah Chen stood at the podium, her legendary eye twitch notably absent. As you can see from the quarterly reports, tech support tickets have decreased by 99.9%. The remaining 0.1% are mostly from Keith, but we're working on that. Keith, who had finally mastered the art of unmuting himself in virtual meetings, though he still occasionally held his phone upside down, raised an appendage. I object, I've gotten much better. I only submitted 3 tickets this week. Keith, changing your password from password 123 to password 1234 and then forgetting it 3 times doesn't count as improvement. The chamber erupted in good-natured laughter. Even Keith's mandibles clicked in amusement. The new Basic Technology Competency Treaty hung prominently on the chamber wall, its first article clearly visible. Copy Article 1. We, the species of the Galactic Community, hereby solemnly swear to read the error message before submitting a ticket, not store physical data in actual clouds, limit browser extensions to those that serve an actual purpose. Remember that password 123 is not, and never will be, adequate security. Accept that sometimes turning it off and on again really is the solution. Signed by all known species. Yes, even the energy beings, though they're still salty about losing their cursor music. Sarah continued her presentation, showcasing the latest innovation in galactic tech support. Carl, computerized assistant for repetitive lessons, an AI help desk assistant programmed with over 1,000 variations of "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" ranging from helpful to passive-aggressive to openly sarcastic. Carl has been particularly effective, Sarah noted, especially since we gave him the ability to sigh in 17 different languages. The ancient AIs, who had taken to manifesting as occasional holographic observers, materialized briefly to give another appreciative slow clap before returning to their semi-retirement. They'd left a note saying they were going to hibernate for a few millennia, but everyone knew they were still watching, probably with cosmic popcorn. As the session concluded, Sarah checked her personal terminal one last time. Copy Galactic Tech Support, status. Desktop Organization Seminary, Why Your Icons Don't Need Their Own Postal Codes. Completed. Quantum Computing Basics. No, you can't download more quantum. Completed. Browser Extension Intervention Program. Successful. Password Security Workshop. 12345 is not a good pin. Ongoing. Looking at you, Keith. The Hive Mind Collective, now using a properly secured authentication system, sent a collective message of appreciation. We finally understand why having a trillion minds share one password was a bad idea. Also, has anyone seen our old browser instance? We kind of missed the sparkles. Sarah smiled, her eye completely twitch-free for the first time in years. No, she replied, but I can teach you how to create a new browser profile, one that won't take 3 centuries to load. As she began the tutorial, Sarah could have sworn she heard the ancient AIs munching on their quantum popcorn, thoroughly enjoying their creation's happy ending. And somewhere in the depths of the galactic network, Carl processed another ticket with a perfectly calibrated sigh. Have you tried turning it off and on again?